Yesterday, USA. For the good times. For the good times. For the good times.
This is Fred Foy. Join us now as we travel back in time and relive some of the magic that was part of the golden age of radio. It's time now for another episode of The Glowing Dial, here on Yesterday, USA.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting. Use Gritto, radio friends, the soap that gives your hands that dishpan look. How will the old man know you've been working if your hands don't have that dishpan look? Put a box of Gritto in a glass of water, then listen to it fizz. Dopes. Remember, Gritto spelled sideways is atragg. And now Gritto's own story of Sandra Sandpile, and here's Mud in Your Eye. Music.
I heard you on the wireless back in 52, lying awake intently tuning in on you. If I was young, it didn't stop you coming through. They took the credit for your second symphony, rewritten by machine on new technology. And now I understand the problems you could see. I'm not your children. What did you tell them? Video killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star. Pictures came.
And now the hosts of The Glowing Dial, Big John and Steve.
Well, thank you very much, Fred Foy, and welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen. Another edition of The Glowing Dial coming at you. Big John and Steve here.
Hi there.
Hi there, yes. For the next 55 minutes of old-time radio fun and frivolity.
You're not
Stephen,
kidding.
you are freshly back from the YUSA family reunion.
Yes, and what a wonderful time I had.
Okay, that's I was sadly not able to make that because finishing up Specs Howard Broadcast School here, and I graduate tomorrow as we sit here and tape this program. And so
What an accomplishment, John. That is really something.
it is. I've
I'm
worked
very
very,
happy
very hard
for you
for it.
that you worked a long time for this, and it has come to an end.
Yep, I've worked very hard for it. Now, how was the reunion? Give us a little brief encapsulation of the reunion.
Well, let's see. I flew on a plane, and we made several stops, and then I at the airport, I got a rent-a-car, and I drove over to Bill's house. And then I came into the front door, and Bill was busy in the back room on the computer, and he came out and
he hugged
gave me
your
a big
neck.
hug.
I'm going to hug your neck.
Then we had some activities planned throughout the week. Some suggestions that Bill had, and other ones I suggested, or other people, and we just went ahead and did that, and
well, that
had
sounds
a nice
like
time.
you had just a great old time.
Yes, very nice.
And not without, he came home with a whole bunch of Jack Benny and Fibber shows on tape. So
I never come back
I
empty-handed.
can't wait to pour through all those. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh, I sound like Herman Munster. Pardon me there. To the program, ladies and gentlemen, we have a bunch of short little things to bring you today.
You're going to sew my shorts?
we're
Don't sew
going
my
to,
shorts.
Will you
I'm going to
hush?
hear it.
Hush. Fruit of the loony. All right. We don't exhale into the mic either. That's just bad etiquette. Anyway, we have some things from Laurel and Hardy, some very rare stuff from them.
That's interesting.
Some stuff from the Marx Brothers, and even a Bickerson's if we can squeeze in the time there. So the first thing we're going to start off now is a Laurel and Hardy. This is Hal Roach and MGM present Laurel and Hardy. This was a two-sided record recorded August 18th, 1932 in London. Probably tying in with the boys' promotional trip over there and everything. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. This is Laurel and Hardy, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Oliver Hardy speaking. I'm taking this opportunity of thanking you and the countless friends in the British Isles for the wonderfully wholehearted reception you have given me on my first visit to your beautiful country. Words cannot describe my feelings of...
Hey.
Never before have I been received...
Hey.
Never before have I been... Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen. I think my friend Mr. Laurel wishes to speak to me. What's on your mind?
What about mentioning me in the speech?
Don't worry, I'll get to you in just a few minutes.
In a few minutes?
Certainly.
Well, the record will be over in a few minutes, and then you won't be able to...
Listen, why don't you do something to help me?
Well, what can I do?
Here's a hard-boiled egg. Eat that and just relax.
Thank you, Ollie.
Now, let's see where I was. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking this opportunity of thanking you and the countless friends in the British Isles for the wonderfully wholehearted reception you have given me on my first visit to your beautiful country.
Ollie.
What?
Speak up.
What for?
I can't hear you.
Well, if you'll get that egg down, you'll be able to hear me much better.
I just did get the egg down.
What'd you do with the eggshell?
What eggshell?
Don't tell me you've eaten the egg with the shell on it.
Well, I didn't know. You didn't tell me anything about it. You don't happen to have another one, do you?
No, I haven't.
Have you got any nuts?
No, I haven't got any nuts.
Well, what'd you do with those we brought in New York?
Oh, I left them in my wardrobe trunk.
Where is your trunk? Maybe we could go get them.
Oh, that reminds me. Where is my trunk? I haven't seen it for several days.
Have you felt in all your pockets?
Now, that's a good idea. I'll take a look. What do you mean, have I felt in all my pockets? Will you please stop annoying me while I make this speech?
No, I'm not annoying you. I'm not doing
now,
anything.
keep quiet.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Stop wiggling your tie.
What do you mean, stop wiggling my tie?
Well, every time you get fancy, you start wiggling your tie, and it looks silly.
If you interrupt me again, I'll wiggle you. What are you crying for?
I don't want to be wiggled.
Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen. I wish to speak to my friend privately. What are you trying to do? Spoil my speech?
No, that's impossible.
You bet your life it's impossible.
That's the first time you've agreed with me, Ollie.
Oh, you're getting sarcastic, huh?
No, I'm not.
Well, just for that, you make a speech.
I don't want to make a speech.
Oh, yes, you will make a speech.
I don't know anything about it.
Go ahead.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen.
With your hat off.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Ladies and gentlemen, with your hat off.
Oh, you don't say that.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, without your hat off.
Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, you'll never know how happy we are to be here with you tonight in Chicago, America.
Oh.
It's the first...
We're in London, you fool. London.
Well, I didn't know. We've been traveling to so many places, I wasn't quite sure just where we were.
Well, go ahead. It won't make any difference anyway.
So this is London, eh?
Yes, London.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You said that once.
All right. I'm so happy to be here with you tonight in London, Scotland.
No, that's done it. No more speeches.
What do you mean, no more speeches? We've got to do something.
All right. Maybe I can sing a little song.
That's a good idea. Oh, say, that reminds me.
What?
I wish I brought my piano with me from America.
You don't have to bring a piano all the way from America. There's plenty here.
I know, but I wish I'd brought mine.
Now, why in your wildest dreams do you wish you'd brought your piano with you?
Well, you won't be mad at me if I tell you, will you?
Oh, no. You know I couldn't really get mad with you.
No, I'd rather not tell you. I'd rather...
Oh,
no, I'd rather...
Come on now. Why do you wish that you'd brought your piano with you?
Well, I left our return tickets lying on top of it, and I couldn't...
Ladies and gentlemen, this is again Laurel and Hardy.
In two parts.
Will you shut up? You've done enough damage.
What damage?
You left our tickets behind in America. Now we've got to swim back.
How far is it?
Oh, it's only 3,000 miles.
Well, that's not bad. It's only 1,500 miles each.
You wait till I introduce the orchestra, and I'll take care of you. Ladies and gentlemen, we leave behind a musical memory, a dance version of our theme song, which we hope you will enjoy. The Dance of the Cuckoos.
Goodbye.
Hi, I'm singer Betty Johnson, and you're listening to The Glowing Dial with your hosts Big John and Steve here on Yesterday, USA.
And thank you very much, Betty. We are back with you, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed that little bit of Laurel and Hardy there. That was an old disc, August 18th, 1932, recorded in London. Laurel and Hardy in two pots. And Steve was laughing all throughout that. It shows you, even the guys were even funny. I mean, they were very visual comedians, which is probably why they didn't do a lot of radio, simply like the Stooges as well. Yeah. They were very physical comedians, and I don't know of any Stooges things on radio at all. And if anybody out there does know of anything that the Stooges were on radio, I would like to know about it. So you can write to us here at the Glowing Dial. We'll give you the address at the end of the show. But we have something else coming up here from the boys, and this thing is it is a what is it? It's an excerpt from a radio show that they did, and it we don't exactly know where this is from. There's no air date, but they think it's Hollywood origination. It's the marriage of Stan Laurel. Where Stanley in this sketch is supposedly getting married to Patsy Moran, who was a big comedian in those days as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm reaching over here to the machine here, Steve, so help me fill in here.
Yes. Patsy Moran. She was on the show a lot. She was like an extra that was like on there a lot.
Yes, and we're going to present that to you right now. So stay with us. There's more to come here on the Glowing Dial. And right now, here is Laurel and Hardy and Patsy Moran in The Marriage of Stan Laurel. Enjoy.
And now, fellas, here's a playlet written especially for you. It's called The Wedding Night, and the cast includes 4 of your favorite film favorites. Edgar Slow Burn Kennedy as the Justice of the Peace, Miss Patsy Moran as the bride, and further in the mixed-up proceedings are those 2 master clowns, Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy. Welcome to Mail Call, Laurel and Hardy.
Thank you, Lucille. Who's that? Well, that's Lucille Ball.
Ball?
That's right, Ball.
Can I bounce her on my knee?
Why, no, I'm surprised at you, Stanley. Ever since I told you about girls, you've been chasing them.
Oh, I've chased them before, but I never knew why.
Anyhow, you apologize to Miss Ball. Tell her you don't want to bounce her on your knee.
I don't.
No, you don't.
What's the matter? Have I broken my leg or something?
Oh, you're impossible.
Oh, that's all right, Mr. Hardy. Mr. Laurel meant no harm.
I'm not so sure.
Me either. I'll tell you right now.
Will you keep still?
Oh, let's get on with the play, shall we? The wedding night, fellas. The scene is Las Vegas, Nevada. It is 3 o'clock in the morning. The groom, the bride, and the best man are approaching the cottage of a justice of the peace on the outskirts of town. Curtain. Music.
Well, the Justice of the Peace lives right up here, Stanley. Just think, in a few minutes, you and Patsy will be one.
One what?
One husband and one wife.
Well, that makes 2.
Oh, shut up.
Will you 2 can that chatter? I want to get this wedding over with.
Do you feel all right, sweetheart?
I certainly do. I feel fine.
Not you, Patsy. Now, come on and let's go. Ouch, my foot. Will you watch where you're going?
Well, I can't see a thing with this veil on. I can't see a thing.
You don't wear the veil. The bride wears it. Here, put it on, Patsy.
Thank you, Wally.
Did you get her some orange blossoms for her hair like I told you to?
Well, I couldn't find the orange blossoms, so I got some oranges instead.
Yeah, real oranges. Look.
Oh, so that's what's hanging in front of your eyes.
Uh-huh.
How do you keep them there?
She's got bags for them, I
Will you keep still? Now, let's go in.
Ollie.
What?
I'm scared.
Scared of what?
Well, I'm going to marry Patsy. We've only been going steady for 12 years, and you know how it is.
Now, don't be nervous. Take a little shot of this.
What is it?
16-year-old prune punch. It'll bolster you right up. Here.
Thank you, Ollie. Oh, boy, that's good. Thank you, Ollie. Here's the bottle.
Well, where's the cork?
What cork?
The cork that was in the bottle.
Oh, I thought that was a prune pit, and I swallowed it.
Oh, say, will you please ring the bell and stop wasting my time?
Okay.
Ring it louder. We've got to wake the justice up.
What's the matter? Is he dead or something?
Here, I'll ring it. That's the way to do it. Oh!
What happened?
What's going on here? What's all the racket?
We'd like to get married if it's not too much trouble.
Not too much trouble. Getting that guy up at this hour of the night?
What are you squawking about? We're up.
The cork's up, too.
Now I can take my finger out of this bottle.
Well, as long as I'm up, come on in. Well, are you coming in or not?
Oh, yes,
Sure,
yes.
we'll be right
We're
in.
coming in, yeah.
Now, which is which here?
Well, this is she, and that's it.
My goodness, young lady, where did you get that veil you're wearing?
From my father.
He keeps bees, Judge.
Young man, you're very fortunate to have a girl like this. My dear, you have lovely orange eyes.
Thank you, Judge. Have one?
No, thanks.
I'll have one, if you don't mind. You can eat later.
Now, miss, I'll have to fill out the certificate. What's your name, please?
Patsy Moran.
What?
Moran. M-O-R-O-N.
What's that for?
Now, you keep out of this. Now, what's your name?
My name, Laurel. But call me Stanley for short.
And where were you born?
Born, Bridge, Minnesota.
Bridge, Minnesota?
Yeah. On the bridge, right between St. Paul and Minneapolis. You know, I'll never forget that morning. All the cars that were coming
Well, let's
around
go.
and-
I want to get back to bed. Now, young lady, do you take this man to be your lawful wedded husband?
I do.
And you, Stanley for short, do you take this woman to be your lawful wedded wife?
I don't think so.
Why not?
I've taken a dislike to her.
Oh, Stanley, you brute. Oh.
I can't help it, Patsy. I just...
Stanley,
What, Ollie?
you came out here to get married, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
You took poor little Patsy away from her mother, her home.
Yes, I know, but...
You stand her up at the altar. Only a cad would do that.
I'm sorry,
Young man, do you take this woman to be your lawful wedded wife?
I do.
Fine. Now, young woman, do you take this man to be your lawful wedded husband?
I should say not.
Why not?
I've taken a dislike to him.
Well, can you beat that?
Why, you two little whippersnappers, I'll take you both of you and wring your neck.
Come on, let's get out of here. This is another fine mess you've got me into. Now, look, Patsy, you came out here to get married, didn't you?
Sure.
You took poor little Stanley away from me. You broke up my home. You brought him all the way here to Las Vegas.
Yes, I know.
And when you get here, you leave him standing at the altar. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now, kiss and make up. Not me, Stanley. Now, come on and let's go in.
Ollie,
What?
how about another shot?
Not now.
Make it two.
Wait till after you're married.
Surprise?
Surprise? Why, you...
Calm down, Judge. Now, everything is all set.
Oh, it is, huh?
Yep.
Let's step right in, folks.
Thank you, Judge.
Now, stand before me. Do you take this man to be your lawful wedded husband?
I do.
And do you take this woman to be your lawful wedded wife?
I do.
Then I won't marry you!
Why not?
Because I've taken a dislike to the whole bunch of you.
But, Judge...
Get out of here!
Well, it looks like back to the laundry for me.
Ollie, how about that shot you promised me? Remember that?
I'm glad you reminded me. Here it is.
Thank you, Patsy Moran, Edgar Kennedy, Stan Laurel, and Oliver Hardy for a splendid contribution to American dramatic radio.
Top of the morning to you. This is Arthur Anderson. But let's pretend I'm Lucky the Leprechaun. You're listening to the Glowing Dial here on Yesterday, USA. Oh, you like the Glowing Dial. For us, said Arthur Anderson, it's magically nostalgic. That doesn't quite scan, does it? But you know what I mean.
Yes, we know what you mean. Thank you very much, Arthur. We're back with you, Big John and Steve here. Back on the Glowing Dial. Hope you enjoyed that other bit of Laurel and Hardy there. That was The Marriage of Stan Laurel, with Patsy Moran and Donald McBride in supporting roles there. Not sure what the program that was from. I'm thinking it might be like a, what did I say, Steve? A command performance?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or one of those programs where, or what was the other one? Not Mail Call was another one. Where they would GIs would write letters in saying who they wanted to hear on the radio, and they would bring in those people. And so those shows were always quite interesting because sometimes you would get people pairing up that normally wouldn't, and interesting things would happen. Anyway, we're going to move along here to our next little excerpt. Not excerpt, actually. Well, I guess you could call it an excerpt. It's a Bickersons. It's a sketch, though. We have brought you some full-length Bickersons on this program before. I wish my mouth worked. And they had a full-length show called Drene Time, Drene, and that was a shampoo, I believe it was. And that's what the Bickersons were born of, that program. And, of course, a lot of radio stations just went and played just those Bickerson sketches, just the argument sketches, because they were so popular. And, of course, some of us live those arguments in real life, have to live with situations like that. But let's not go into that right now. Why don't we go into the Bickersons right now? And this one is John.
Bickersons, yeah.
Yes, John and Blanche. And John makes out his will. Enjoy.
The Bickersons have retired. Mrs. Bickerson writhes in sympathetic anguish at 2 o'clock in the morning as poor husband John, victim of contagious insomnia, or Schmo's disease, broadcasts the telltale symptoms during the crucial stage of the dread ailment. Listen.
It doesn't sound human. He's got it worked out in a regular pattern. Now he'll get amused. Why aren't you laughing? John, wake up. You should be giggling and you're crying. What's the matter with you?
What's the matter, Blanche?
You're not snoring like you usually do. I was just getting used to your whining and giggling, but now you start crying and it throws me off completely.
What are you talking about?
You've got to stop it, John. I've never been so sick in all my life, and you won't let me get a minute's sleep. I don't feel well.
What hurts you, Blanche?
Everything hurts me. Call Dr. Marvin.
You don't need Dr. Marvin. I'll take care of you. Tell me where it hurts.
It's those clams we had tonight. I didn't want to eat them, but you kept insisting. You kept telling me clams are healthy.
Well, clams are healthy.
They are not.
They are, too. Did you ever hear one complain? I ate more than you did, and I feel perfectly horrible. I mean, fine. Where does it hurt you?
I think I'm poisoned. My whole body aches, and I've got a terrible shooting pain between my shoulder blades.
Well, lie still, and I'll fry you some cucumbers and hot root beer.
Fine cucumbers and hot root beer?
Make a new man of you.
You just want to finish me off, that's all.
Oh, Blanche, I'm only going to make a poultice out of it. It draws out the pain. It's a new medical discovery.
What's the matter with an old-fashioned mustard plaster?
Okay, I'll fix you an old-fashioned mustard plaster. Where's the bourbon?
Bourbon? What's that for?
To soak the mustard plaster.
John Bickerson.
Don't worry, I'll scrape the mustard off first. Where's the bottle?
I'm not going to stick any bourbon-soaked plaster on my back.
You don't stick it on your back, you hold it over your mouth and squeeze it. Put on the light.
I will not. I don't want you to touch me.
I'll bet you're not sick at all. You just thought this pain up to keep me awake. Why don't you leave me alone?
I can just hear you saying that to Gloria Gooseby.
Why should I say that to Gloria Gooseby?
Why, indeed? If you were married to Gloria Gooseby, she wouldn't stand for any of your nonsense.
I'm not married to her, and she stands for a lot more of my nonsense than you do. I mean, what do I care what she stands for? I despise Gloria Gooseby, and you know it.
Then why does she keep staring at you like she's hypnotized?
She doesn't stare. Just that she wears those outlandish dresses, and they bring out her eyes.
They bring yours out, too.
Now, look, Blanche. Let's make a pact never to mention that woman's name again as long as we live.
Well, I keep thinking there's something between you.
I swear I don't know she's alive.
He doesn't mean more to you than I do.
She means even less to me than you do.
I don't like the way that sounded.
Well, don't go looking for hidden meanings. Now, if you're really sick, I'll do anything you want to make you feel better. Now, if you feel okay, all I ask is that you let me have a few hours sleep. How's that fair enough?
No, I did have a little headache before, but now I've lost it.
It isn't lost. I've got it. Every morning when I go to work, I'm bleary-eyed, and I stumble around the office in a stupor. I don't know how much longer my boss is going to stand for it.
Why do you stumble around, John?
Well, because I don't get enough sleep. I'm completely debilitated. And only last week, I failed to pass an insurance examination.
Was it the same examination you had before?
Well, certainly.
Then why didn't you copy the answers off of the old policy?
It's not answers they want. They give you a medical checkup. And apparently I'm not such an ideal physical specimen.
I think you're wonderful. You've got the nicest legs of any man I ever saw.
Thanks. In the meantime, I don't think I'm long for this world.
Am I responsible for it, John?
No.
I am, too. I know I am. John, can I talk to you?
Sure. Go ahead and talk.
I've been thinking about how we quarrel all the time, and I'm sure we love each other as much as any other married couple, and I know they must have their little arguments, maybe more than... John! You said I could talk to you.
Well, am I stopping you?
I want you to listen.
Okay.
I didn't know your health was bad, and I'm worried. If anything happened to you, I'd blame myself for not taking the proper precautions. For you know what I think?
What do you think, Blanche?
I think you ought to make out a will.
Make out a will? I thought you were worried about me.
Well, you don't want to leave me at the mercy of all those grasping relatives of yours, do you? The minute you drop dead...
Don't talk like that! Can't you say pass on or something like that?
Well, you always say drop dead.
Oh, well, that's only when I'm talking to your brother Amos. You should be a little more delicate when you're discussing wills.
Why?
Well, because you make it sound like I'm going to go any minute.
Well, they don't give you 2 weeks' notice, you know. You just told me you couldn't get any more insurance.
Oh, I can get all the insurance I want.
No, I don't care. You should make out a will just the same.
Okay, I'll make it out tomorrow.
You say it, but you won't do it. Get up and do it now.
What?
Go on, get up and make out a will.
Why, you're out of your mind. In the first place, a will isn't legal unless you have 2 witnesses. And in the second place, I haven't got anything to leave in the first place. Unless you're thinking of that phony stock your thieving brother stole me.
What phony stock?
Those 500 shares of Kentucky saltpeter. They're not worth the paper they're written on. Nobody's going to take anything, and I don't need a will.
You're the most stubborn man that ever lived, John.
Why? Why am I stubborn?
It's the hardest thing in the world to make you admit I'm right when you know I'm wrong.
Now, there's a woman's logic for you. Suppose I do make out a will and nobody can touch anything except you. Okay. So now you got all my worldly goods. First thing you know, you get over your grief and marry a guy without a dollar to his name. Like that broken-down snore specialist, Dr. Marvin.
Oh, I'm not going to marry anybody.
He'll give up his practice and take you for every penny. My hard-earned money. The little possessions I slave for. He'll drive my brand-new car. Drink my bourbon. Loaf around like a prince.
John!
Why don't you make the bum get a job, Blanche?
For heaven's sake, John, what got into you?
Well, why did you start all this talk about wills?
Well, I'll tell you. Amos just got a job as a notary public.
Amos.
And he gets $2 for every seal he puts on a will.
I knew he was at the bottom of it, that chiseling grafter.
There's nothing wrong with my brother Amos.
No.
You're just jealous because he thinks up ways to make a living without working.
Mm-hmm.
All it takes is a little brain.
Nobody's got littler brains than Amos. He's the cause of 90% of our fights.
Oh, go to sleep.
Go to sleep, she tells me. Practically talks me into a funeral. Gets her brother to steal my will. Keeps me up half the night with Gloria Goosey and clams. Now she tells me, go to sleep. Can't sleep. Never sleep another wink. Oh. phone's dead. It's leaking.
Put down that bottle of bourbon. I'll get the phone. I wonder who's calling it. Oh, my leg. Put the lights on.
The lights are on. Take off my sleep shade.
Hello.
Blanche, this is Amos.
What do you want, Amos?
Hey, did you talk him into it?
No, and I'm not going to try anymore.
What are you talking about? Everybody's got to have a will. I drew mine up today. I left everything I have in the world to Jarko.
John,
Yeah.
Amos said he drew up his will today and left everything he has in the world to you.
Tell him I don't want her.
Amos, John says he's very pleased.
Fine. And you know, one good turn deserves another.
Sure, I'll talk to him tomorrow.
It's very important to have a will, Blanche. You know, there's a big case going on right now, and all the relatives are fighting over the dough because a rich old lady didn't file a will.
Really?
Yeah, she had $100,000 in cash and hid it in the bustle of her wedding dress. Hey, tell Jarko.
John,
Yeah?
an old lady died and they found $100,000 in her bustle.
That's a lot of money to leave behind.
He says that's a
Never
lot.
mind. I heard him. I'll bring my notary seal around tomorrow, Blanche.
You better wait till I call you. Good night, Amos. Oh, dear. John, I've got that shooting pain between my shoulder blades again.
Oh, let's have a look.
Right here. It must be arthritis or neuralgia. It sticks me like a knife. What is it, John?
It's the price tag on your nightgown. Here.
No wonder my back was hurting.
Holy smoke, $48.50. Is that what that nightgown cost?
Yes, I just bought it this morning.
Oh!
What's the matter, John?
Now my back is hurting. Good night, Blanche.
Hi, this is Bob Hastings. Just telling you that you should be listening to Glowing Dial with Big John and Steve on Yesterday USA. Don't miss it. It's fun.
Yes, indeed, Bob. You are correct, sir. It is fun. Folks, we have an apology to make.
No.
Yes, we had originally planned to bring you a Marx Brothers, but the disc is malfunctioning. It's the beginning of the disc is not playing as properly as it should, and we don't want to bring you part of a show if we can bring you the whole thing. So we're going to substitute with something, interestingly enough, that was on our very first audition tape that we made for Bill Bragg.
Now, isn't that strange, John?
Yes, it is. We made actually 2 audition tapes. One was like a 90-minute one, and that never actually got aired. So we made him a 60-minute audition tape, and that one actually got aired and got us the time slot. So this is a program that we had on that first audition tape, and it's changing the vein from comedy to the supernatural now. It's a program called Strange. I believe it was on in the mid-50s.
That is strange.
Hosted by paranormal expert Walter Gibson. And there are only, I believe, 4 of these known to exist, and we have 1, and we are looking for the other 3 episodes. So if anybody out there has any more episodes of Strange...
Walter Gibson and who else? We said it was a paranormal.
No, he was just a single normal paralegal.
A uninormal.
I guess if he had a gun, he'd be a parachute.
Yes, a parachute.
Never mind. Anyway, you'll notice the absence of the McGee machine this week. Well, he blew a tube, poor fella. So he's out being repaired. We will have him back with us, our McGee machine, delightful thing, back with us next episode. But right now, let's get into Strange. And again, I apologize for the quality of this one, but it is the only copy we have and the only one known to exist of this particular episode. So enjoy, and we'll be back to say goodbye.
The story you're about to hear is true, but strange.
On Christmas Eve, Tom, you picked up a girl on the road and didn't even tell me about it.
Oh, wait a minute, Lucille. How do you...
She was a beautiful girl with eyes like nothing a man has ever seen before.
You've been talking to Bill?
And you end up at my house walking around as though you weren't quite connected with this world.
Answer me. Have you been talking to Bill? Did he tell you about this?
I've talked with Bill, but he didn't tell me any part of this. And neither did anyone else. But I know, and I can tell you every detail of that ride.
How?
That's why you're out for this ride, darling. I'm going to show you how.
Strange, true stories of the supernatural. With your narrator, famous author, lecturer, and expert on weird and unusual events, Walter Gibson.
Thank you, Charles Woods. At the turn of the century, a train ran through Connecticut, which local residents dubbed the Ghost Train. It was real enough at the time, but its white cars gave it a weird effect when seen through the night. In years to come, the term became even more appropriate. A few years ago, Tom Lacey was driving over back roads in Connecticut to spend Christmas with his fiancée. In the rear seat, his friend Bill Boland was dozing comfortably along with his dog Spangles. Tom didn't like the road very much.
We should have put on chains. It's pretty hard to hold this car down on these old high-crowned roads. Hey, that sounds like a sleigh. Where is it? Gee, I wonder if there could be a side road running along here. I can hear those bells as plain as day, but there's not a sign of the sleigh, either in front of us or behind us. Well, I'd sure hate having to stop for it in a hurry while I'm going down this long hill. There's a train coming. It's an old steam train. Gee, I thought everything up here was diesel. There's no more bells. The sleigh must have stopped for the train, and I'd better... Whoa, whoa. White cars. It's like a ghost train. Funny. Lucille didn't mention anything about railroad crossing and the directions. There's somebody in the road, I think. Yeah, it's a girl. She's been looking for a ride way out here. Well, there's somebody to talk to since Bill won't wake up. Hey, get in. You must be frozen standing out there. Here, I'll close the door for you. Well, where to, miss?
To my house. In the valley at the foot of the Long Hill Road. My father is ill. I must get to him right away. Right away.
Long Hill Road? I'm afraid I don't know where that is.
Take the first right down the hill. At the bottom, take a left fork across the covered bridge. It's the first house, the other side of the river.
Okay, take it easy. I'll get you there. Well, I guess this is the place, miss.
Yes,
There's somebody waiting for you on the porch, I think, with a lantern.
my brother Leonard.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me get the door. It sticks.
Thank you.
Well, wait a minute. You don't have to be in such a hurry, do you? I'd kind of like to see you again.
After Christmas, I'm sure my father will be well. Good night.
It was a gay Christmas at the home of Lucille Rutledge, Tom's fiancée. But Tom, oddly enough, was more quiet than usual. Although Lucille worried a little, asking if he felt all right, Tom would not admit to anything being wrong. Finally, she got Bill Boland aside to ask a few pertinent questions.
Bill, will you talk to me for a minute?
Sure, pick a subject.
I can't help wondering what's happened to Tom. Do you have any idea?
Well, I didn't know anything had happened to him.
Oh, well, now, he's not being himself at all. He's quiet. And you know that's not at all like Tom.
Come to think of it, I guess that's right.
We haven't seen each other since Thanksgiving. Are you sure that he hasn't met another girl?
No. Look, he dragged me through every high-priced store on Fifth Avenue before we came up here. And he was like an anxious adolescent. Did I think you'd like this? Did I think you'd like that?
No.
Was it the right color? Does that sound like a guy who's got his mind on another girl?
No. And one of you certainly had good taste in presents, I must say. But just the same, he's been quiet and strained ever since he got here. So something must have happened. Tom. Bill, nothing happened along the road, did it?
Well, you can't prove it by me. I was asleep most of the way out here.
No, think hard.
Well, honest, nothing. I vaguely remember hearing Tom muttering to himself while he drove along, but I...
And?
Well, now that I think of it, I do seem to remember a woman's voice in there a couple of times. Of course, I thought I was dreaming.
Do you remember where you heard it?
Oh, I didn't even open my eyes. All I know is we were going down a hill. We seemed to have been going down a hill the whole way up here.
It was a long hill, in other words. Now I know what's been the matter with Tom.
Oh, wait a minute, Lucille. If there's anything I've said...
Rest easy, Bill. But tomorrow I'm going to take Tom out for a drive, and you're not invited.
Although the roads hadn't improved a bit, Lucille insisted on going out for a drive with Tom on the following day. She took the wheel, and as the car pulled out of the village, she said...
I should be jealous, you know.
Huh?
Yes, you pick up a girl along the road. Don't even tell me about it.
Wait a minute.
She's a beautiful girl with eyes like nothing a man has ever seen before.
You've been talking to Bill.
And you end up at my house, walking around as though you weren't, quite connected with this world.
Answer me. Have you been talking with Bill?
I've talked with Bill, yes, but he didn't tell me any of this.
Well, then how'd you know?
That's an admission that it's all true.
Well, all right. I picked up the girl, yeah. She was standing beside the road trying to flag a ride to her home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it looked pretty cold out there, so I took her home.
Yeah, but you wanted to see her again.
Well, I wanted... Look here. Was this kid a friend of yours?
No.
Well, then how did you know all this?
I'm psychic.
Oh, nonsense.
No, really, Tom. Why the stare ever since you got here? Do you realize that you haven't looked me in the eyes once?
Well, I didn't realize them. I'm sorry. It won't happen again.
Yes, but what's your promise worth? How do I know it won't happen again?
Because I love you, and I want to marry you. And you're the only girl in the world for me.
Oh, well, that goes a long way toward getting you out of the doghouse.
Oh, that's good.
Now, if you can explain walking around with a dreamy countenance.
Well, you put your finger on it, all right. See that girl's eyes? They're what had me walking around in a trance. I just couldn't get them out of my mind.
All right, darling. Now, I'll show you how I happen to know all about it. Although, this is an advantage that I really should keep.
By a roundabout way, Lucille drove Tom to the long hill, where unexplained things had started happening to him. Different as it appeared in daylight, Tom could still recognize it, and he said so.
That's right, darling. You see, now we're headed back toward my house on exactly the same road you took Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Do you remember hearing something around this point?
Yeah, sleigh bells.
Did you see the sleigh?
No, that's what struck me.
You didn't see the sleigh because it was traveling an old road that doesn't exist anymore. It used to run parallel to this one, at least partway down the hill. And then, just about here, I should think, you started hearing a train whistle.
Yeah, I'm darned if I did. How did you know?
And when you came around this curve, you saw...
I saw a train.
Yes. But now... Look, in the light of day, do you see any railroad crossing there?
No, there's not a sign of one. Oh, was I out of my head?
No, darling, you were all right. Look on either side of the road. You'll see the old railroad bed where the line used to run through here.
Yeah?
And right here is where you picked up the girl, isn't it?
Yeah, she was standing right over there by that rock.
Now, Tom, the reason I know exactly what happened is that it's happened before to other people down through the years. You see, back around 1900, a girl named Ethel Wyman was hurrying down this hill in a sleigh, trying to reach her father's sickbed before he died. And she was struck and killed here by the train that used to run on this line.
Yeah, and it was painted all white, wasn't it?
And every year at Christmas time, the scene is reenacted, with the girl standing by the side of the road, trying to get a ride to her father's house. And everyone who has experienced it has made a point of reporting the girl's eyes. They were haunting.
Yeah, they certainly were. Well, so I picked up a ghost and took her home, huh? Gee, that'll be something to remember. Well, look, now will you tell me why all this business about you being jealous?
Oh, well, it was just too good an opportunity, sweetheart. I just wanted to be sure that you'd never look at another girl again, no matter what kind of eyes she had.
Thinking it over later, there was something that neither Tom nor Lucille could puzzle out. Before reaching Ethel Wyman's home, Tom had taken a left fork at the bottom of Long Hill, then crossed a covered bridge. Retracing that route in daylight, he found that neither the fork in the road nor the bridge existed. The road ended at an abutment, and beyond it lay Great Hollow Reservoir, built 40 years before.
Tune in at this same time for Walter Gibson, your expert on the supernatural. Stories of ghosts, of spirits, werewolves, and voodoo. And each story you hear is true, but strange. Strange with Walter Gibson as your expert was directed by Bill Marshall. In the cast were Mary Patton and Hal Holbrook. This is Charles Wood speaking.
This is the Blue.
Hi, this is Leonard Maltin, and you're listening to The Glowing Dial with Big John and Steve here on Yesterday USA.
Thank you very much, Leonard. We are back with you. Sorry about the burst of volume there, ladies and gentlemen.
All of a sudden.
Well, like I said, this episode was in bad shape.
You know, that was a real strange thing to happen.
Yes, thank you very much. But it is the only one we have, and the only one I've ever been able to find. So I thought it worth presenting because it's the only one of its kind. Like I say, there's supposed to be 4 in existence, but Steve, how many times did they use that musical cue? Were you counting it all?
Yes. As many times as I said, isn't that strange?
What was it, 5 or 6 times?
No, 10.
Was it 10? Oh, my God.
10.
That musical cue, I mean, in a 15-minute program, to use a musical cue 10 times, it speaks, I think, of the budget of the program. It must have been a very low-budget, sustained program.
That's strange.
You heard at the very end there, it said, "This is the Blue," and it was cut off. I think they were going to say, "This is the Blue Network of the," I guess at that time it would have been the American Broadcasting Company. Or no.
Yeah.
The Blue Network of NBC was sold.
Yes.
And became ABC.
Right.
And the Red Network stayed NBC.
Yes.
Because the FCC said, you can't own 2 networks, folks, so you have to sell one.
Yes.
Anyway, that being said, I think it's time for us to depart.
Bye-bye, bye-bye.
Tell you to write to us here, folks, at the Glowing Dial. Glowing Dial, 1401 Key West, Troy, Michigan, 480-83-1055. Or call us at 810-774-0112. Or email us at glowdial, GLODIAL, at ix.netcom.com. And we'd like to hear from you, and we'll read your letters on the air, and we'll play your requests. So for now, this is Big John and Steve saying keep a positive thought, keep looking up, and we'll see you on the radio. Till next time, bye-bye.